Planet Fivers, welcome to Tune Up at Noonup, because I don't know about you, but as I go through my day, sometimes I need a tune-up at noon. Or sometimes I need a tune-up at 10, sometimes it's later. But I figure that if I stop what I'm doing at noon and get this positive message in my brain, in my heart, in my spirit, I can bring the rest of my day into light and love and joy and peace and power. And that's what I shine out to others. So we are doing a tune-up at Noonup today. And what I decided to talk about today, because it's been so close to me lately. And have you ever okay, come on, let's get real. Have you ever had a desire that you felt was placed in your heart by God? Did you ever feel like you heard what God wanted you to do in your life? You know, that God's good plan that He has for each and every one of us, and been so certain and started, setting up a vision for it, made a vision board for it, set up goals, got a team ready, started stepping out on this God's good plan, and started watching things happen. It started coming to fruition, and it's exciting and it's fun. And year after year, you start doing this God's good plan, and you see different things happen, but after time, it's not quite going. It doesn't look like what God's good plan, like that desire that was placed in your heart. And so I started questioning myself. Well, is this God's good plan for me, or was this my good plan for me? Or is this desire in my heart, was it really not a desire in my heart? Was it something else? And that's where we need to stop listening to the lies of Satan, because when God has a good plan for us, God's good plan comes in God's good time. Newsflash. God's good time isn't necessarily my good time, because my good time would be like yesterday, and we know what would happen then. Sometimes God has to work us out, get us prepared, do the footwork. Let getting to God's good plan, it's like second nature, because when God's good plan hits, and I'm getting ahead of myself because I want to tell you that I think I've told you the story about my hydrangeas. I've probably showed you pictures, but I have had this hydrangea, 2 hydrangea plants on one side of my porch. There's one on the other. The one on the other bloomed like a normal hydrangea, every summer. But these other 2, nada, zero, big goose egg. Nothing, no blooms. It had lots of foliage. It was an average hydrangea, no flowered plant. Well, this year, when I was getting ready to pull them out, I'm like, all right, maybe I just need to replace these hydrangeas. They never did good. They're never really, they grew, maybe a flower here and there would pop out a season, but maybe I just need to replace them. Well, this year, there is such an abundance of flowers on these hydrangeas. They're coming over onto the porch. They've pushed the other flowers onto the stairs. They have taken over. They are so abundant. And that's God's good plan. That's the way it is. This is what God says. He wants us to know. He doesn't keep us blindfolded. He doesn't keep us guessing. He wants us to know what's going to happen. And here in Amos 9, where are we? Amos 9:13. Here we go. Yes, indeed. It won't be long now, God's decree. Things are going to happen so fast your head will swim. One thing fast on the heels of the other. You won't be able to keep up. everything will be happening at once, and everywhere you look, blessings. Blessings like wine pouring off the mountains and hills. I'll make everything right again. So it's not, his blessings. He's talking about blessings upon blessings. Things I wouldn't even imagine. Who imagines wine pouring off down the hills? That's above and we can imagine, in wine presses, it popping out. Hello, Pastor Sharaz. Hampton, great to see you guys. Thanks for coming out. So we can imagine the blessings, the wine pouring over the vats. But who's imagining wine coming down off of the mountains? And God just doesn't say this once. He wants us to know in Ephesians. Now again, he follows it up many times in the Bible, but this is one of my favorites. Ephesians 3:20. Now all glory to God, who is able through his mighty power at work within us to accomplish infinitely more than we might ask or think. Infinitely more than I might ask, and infinitely more than I might ask or think. Because my asking, I might think it, but say, I can't ask God for that. That's too much. What would God think of me? He'll think I'm a greedy child. No, God is saying, you think it up. You try to think it up. Watch what I do for you. And the thing is I can't despise the small beginnings. That's what he tells me in Zechariah. He's warning us. He's letting us know in Zechariah 4:10, do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. So if you feel like the work you're doing has not reached that level of God's good plan for you, be very certain to remember God does not despise small beginnings. And the reason why I know this is right now, on one hand, I'm singing out to places like the Salvation Army in Patterson. Yet, I've sung at the United Nations. And I'm singing at coffee houses. Yet, I've sung over in Kenya. God is watching our faithfulness. I've had to keep myself in line with his plans. And I have to say, I've questioned God. I've questioned his timing. But he's got some incredible things just on the other side for us. Greater than we could imagine or think. Infinitely greater than what we can imagine or think. And why? Because we have a good God, a God that loves us and wants to see us thrive. We are his shining lights here. We are his workers. We're his warriors on the ground, on earth ground here. And what would it say about our God if he just let us go around with nothing, just sad and depressed? What kind of power does our God have? But our God is a mighty God that wants to give us peace and love and joy and power and his strength. He doesn't abandon us. He infuses us with all of that. And I get that power, that strength, that joy, that love, that peace when I plug into him. So I love you guys. Thanks for showing up for a tune-up at Noonup. And just remember, this is Patrizsha from Soulterior Motives with love and miracles. I'll see you tomorrow for another tune-up at Noonup. Bye-bye. I love you guys.